Very much welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the political command center to Africa. Thank you very much. We are here and across the bridge in Nairobi. Good morning, Miriam.
Doc, a very good morning to you. Good morning to Sharon, and of course, good morning to our viewers. Good evening, good afternoon, depending on where they are watching us today. It is a very rainy, wet morning here in Nairobi today. It's a blessing. So good morning to you.
The temperatures in Nairobi seem to be very disturbing at this time of the year, but I think towards Christmas time, people will have, that's why people run away from Europe and come to Kenya. But now if Kenya has turned away to a different way, there is something wrong with climate change, really. We used to come to Nairobi because Nairobi was sunny during December. You have good weather where you can go out with your family, but now it looks like you leave Europe and come to Nairobi. It is very cold in the evening again these days. If you don't have your pullover, your sweater, you could easily have a problem. Good morning, Sharon Yitonga, all the way from the county of Nairobi. Nakuru got status yesterday. Don't you think we need mayors, like the mayor of London, where I am, mayor of London, a mayor of Birmingham? Yes, the count of Surrey is different from the mayor of Croydon. Each town in London has. So we are going towards there. Now we have cities. When you have Nakuru City, good morning.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matanga, and very good morning to you right at the Political Command Center, Miriam, my colleague, and to all our viewers, whether it's their morning, afternoon, or evening. I definitely agree with you when you talk about probably it's high time we think of getting mayors, like the likes of, you talk about the New York State and, the New York City. But I understand it's, I don't think we are there yet. But having another city coming on board shows that it's actually a step into the right direction. Thank you.
But we were there, Sharon, a couple of years ago. We used to have mayors.
Yeah.
So the new constitution removed that, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, already we've, inaugurated one more city. So it shows, we are actually making some baby steps to actually get there. Looking at Nakuru, it's quite big. And I don't think the governor might be able to really concentrate on the city itself and the county, when you talk about devolution and, all that is going to be brought by the many opportunities that are going to come as a result of, the city. So it's safe to say that we are actually going there, Miriam. We are getting there.
Yes. We're getting back there.
We're getting back there. Yeah. Okay. Probably bigger and better, bigger and better, not like it used to be before Constitution.
Why can't you people use just one word? We return to the former. We are all getting back there. Yes, return to what? To the sender, where we are. We are going back to the sender. Barua inarudishwa. Thank you very much, Miriam. For me, from this side, I look like bubbly. I look like now my legacy is still strong. Uhuru Kenyatta hinted on the legacy yesterday. I said, my friend, don't do a sprint. Campaign elections need a marathon. Don't sprint. You might, you realize that Ruto's oxygen is over. As we were talking yesterday, I was right. As when Songa comes in, I was very right. I told you that Ruto is in Machakos telling people that we have built the road, we have built this, we have built this. In Machakos, lying. Ruto is a ghost worker. Agree or not? His brother was trying to bring him out as a ghost worker. And his brother says, President Uhuru said so many things. He said leadership is not as simple as you think, because it stomachs a lot. There are so many things that Ruto has done very badly and wrongly. No president in Africa can stomach that. I'm telling you. It is good that President Uhuru Kenyatta grew up in a family that has values. That values Ubuntu. It has Ubuntu. Kama ulikuwa mtu like some of us who look at people's shoes and we admire them. Yeah? And you ask why Matanga is wearing shoes and I'm not wearing shoes. And you have that anger of not wearing shoes because all of us were not born the same. Jesus was born in a different way. He was born from a cattle crowd, what we call, what is it called? Christians call it this, the star directed the mom, and then, you know, very small area in a cattle house deep, or called crowd or a manja. Is it a manja called?
A manger.
Definitely not a deep dog, but a manger.
It's a manger.
You could, let me ask you, how are they, you know, vaccinating their cattle? They must have a dip. So I was trying to combine everything, including in a dip. You never know, they must have, how do they wash their cattle? The disease did not start yesterday. Disease started a long time ago. So, Miriam, everybody has got class. Struggle did not begin yesterday. But what we don't need to do is to use class struggle to destroy our countries today in Africa. And that is the run, but run nicely. Don't run badly. Ruto has really injured his friend. And you can tell from the body language of His Excellency the President yesterday in Nakuru that he's a man who is very, very tolerant. The mistakes that are made. The man went and said, I have stopped reggae. They went wanataka vyeyo, cheyo, nanini, chepe, posts. I stopped it. Proudly, is Ruto also creating another deep state of his own? Is there a deep state in these agencies that keep on, which Ruto is creating? Don't you think Ruto is creating a deep state of the judiciary? Is he not creating a judiciary where he is manipulating judicial officers to take decisions? Because for him to say he stopped reggae and not the court stopping reggae, it means he had a hand. And I told you here on this television, and for me, one of the things when you come to bury me, whoever will attend my burial, don't say a lie on my burial. Because I always say the truth. Ruto is a spoiler. And the Ruto is not ready to concede his defeat. Luckily enough, we have cut off his tail somewhere. I'm now telling you, by that time, his tail will be cut off. It has been cut. We have been monitoring the tape for some of us. Voluntarily, not told by state. We know what he wanted to do. We are still watching. We don't want chaos in Africa. For me, anybody looking for chaos, Buhari, who, I don't like anybody. In fact, we have prolonged this war. This war's medium. We prolonged them. We prolonged the war. Look at the way we prolonged the war of Somalia. We should have just, the way Uganda came up with a plan, we go in, smash these guys up to Indian Ocean. Walayamu. Let people cry. We would have swept that area. I'm a soldier. And I'm speaking as not a civilian like a Ruto. We could have gone for these guys. Look at the prolonging. What has caused, what has brought, it has brought another war across in Ethiopia. It is going to bring more wars around the region. That's why You see, no. Africa has to change. From Buhari, Paul Robia, everybody, we must change the way we are doing things. Why do you have a man? He's planning. He's now planning. You know, he's planning. I have been told a very sad story. Why, Guru? I am investigating this. Then when Walaya Mungu Guru, you are in trouble with Matanga. When I find this, the truth, I'm going to broadcast it, you won't know. And it will be in the Guardian. Kumbe, this is what you do. Yeah? Yeah. Africa has to change. We have to stand up. Look, Medium, we have all the potential. Look at Nigeria, for example. Are you not ashamed? You suspend an election 2 hours. We are going to talk about the Kenyan elections anyway. 2 hours before. That's gerrymandering. You have already killed the opponents. You have killed you, the government. Buhari suspended an election 2 hours before. People were already queuing. He said there is no election. He's killing people. The state is sinking. Now he's realizing that it is a political solution. I need to speak to the man called so and so. He has to, it's a political solution, not court. Don't carry people, don't shoot people, don't go around the world shooting people. That you will stop a revolution. This goes to all presidents across in Africa. Don't shoot your opponents. When opponents have run away and they have gone somewhere, leave them. But don't follow to shoot them. And follow to kidnap them. No. I like the style of Zimbabwe. I'm very happy I'm associated with the people of Zimbabwe. Yes, I've been associated with the leadership there for over 21 years. I'm happy. They left Moyo. Jonathan Moyo is making noise on Twitter from Nairobi. They don't care about him. He's a Zimbabwean. That's it. He insults the president every day. But this idea of Buhari kidnapping people, like he kidnapped Umar Diko, Walai ya Mungu wewe Buhari, is not very good. This is not the first time he has done it. Look at the type of chaos he has created for some of us who did not even know that he had a plan to kidnap this younger man. You bring the younger man on this platform for an interview medium, you can see our television has suffered immensely over nothing. We didn't know where the man was coming from, where he was. He told me he was in London. He told me he's a Christian, I'm a Christian. Only to realize he's in Nairobi. Kumbe is in Nairobi. Look at the mess. Look at the mess we have gone through, causing us, some of us are clean. I'm also an exile. I'm also a political opponent who has stayed longer, 37 years. If I'd been told that man was in Nairobi, I would not have even touched his interview. But he told me he's in London. Okay, I prepared 2 hours difference. You remember, that's why I started the program at 11. Thanks God, the brother has apologized to me. I'm happy with that. Because they know he has told the brother, I have nothing. I didn't know. So when we have presidents kidnapping people, killing people, shooting people, following people, go and kill here, you are not solving a problem. You have a president going to the battlefield that is going to fight Eritrean, Tigray. While the Tigray are going behind, coming, they are now 18 miles away from the airport, and the diplomats are running away. You are now on the front line, going back to their territory in Bekele. What type of stupidity is this? Where is Africa going now? This is true what Uhuru said yesterday. He's right. Because when you have a leader like this one we have in Kenya, who changes shirts like a chameleon every day because he wants to impress women. Yeah? He's not impressing the public, but the women, color, yellow, this, from Turkey. He's thinking of Harun Ayadin. There is another scandal coming. The one who introduced, the person who brought the printer from Greece. Who is the person? I wish I were working in the security agencies in this country. Some people would be arrested so many every minute. I'm telling you. Who introduced the Greek printing company to Chebukati? And the MPs listen to me. Musikubali yo tender. Cancel it. Cancel it. It is like the water dam tender. The Kimron. The person who introduced. It is a big scandal. So for me, I tell the truth. When you come, pray for me that I continue to say something about Africa. I want to take this opportunity to thank the president, the general in Guinea-Bissau, in Guinea-Conakry. I sent a note from Pan-African Forum Medium, and now that the results have been seen, I'm going to publish it tomorrow. I work, I'm very effective. So give me a credit. There are some people who don't want to give me a credit. Give it to me. I'm the only man left talking for Africa war. Show me PLO Lumumba and Matanga. PLO talks, but the PLO does not confront these guys. I confront them. If they bring military tactics, I have no problem. Because PLO Lumumba is very small, I'm sure. So I cover him. The guy in Guinea understood my letter. There is a chaos still in the streets of Guinea, Conakry, and you have the president under arrest. Don't you think that if you release the president, the thing will go down and he can help you to rule? Because he was your boss. He's the one who even made you higher to reach where you are. This guy understood. And I said, brother, I am like a small, I was in the army before you entered. The other people who mess up in Khartoum, I told them, the moment you bring in the issue of Al-Mahdi and Bashir, you are bringing more chaos. You want to hand over Al-Mahdi, Bashir to ICC. Forget it. Keep quiet first. Stabilize the government. Allow the prime minister to engage. Let him do it on his own. But if you get you army generals, you are in power and you are handing on your commander in chief, and you are the real commanders in Darfur, Miriam, watakuchota wewe. The generals said, David Matanga, what are you saying? He said they will arrest you. Or what Bashir needs to do when he's in the ICC. He says, I plead guilty. But can you bring the current president, his deputy, and all the army council? They are the ones whom I sent to do work and they didn't do well. You think the ICC will keep quiet? It will come for them. So here we are. The situation in Africa. What President Uhuru Kenyatta was saying yesterday is correct, that we have a problem. We run it very fast, yet we have a marathon. You sprint when elections are a marathon. So time is going to come, Miriam, as I hand back to you. For people who have been running so fast, changing shirts, who made this thing as money, my friend? I didn't know. Why, Guru, of all people, you did this? I've received this is very serious. Very, very, very serious. And I am doing further investigations. Then I will come out with a full report. It is sad. On the question of elections, as we come, Miriam, as you go take the rest of the people, I can see Daniel Wesonga, welcome to the show. For me, from this place of the coldness, back to you in Nairobi with coldness again. You are also feeling cold, like I'm feeling cold. So let's play now. Thank you very much, viewers. That was just an opener. And by the way, let's take a small, there is an advert that we are doing, Miriam. You should order for it, Stephen. Can we play it? And as Miriam had just actually, we are in time today. It's 10:30 o'clock. Can you play our promo? Stephen, do you have the promo? Can we take a break, a small break of 1 minute? As we readjust to the promo. Stephen, do you have it? Have you got
All right, so maybe, Doc, maybe as we wait for Steve to play that promo, I just take us through quickly the headlines this morning on the leading papers we have, and on the Star newspaper. The main headline is MP pushing to legalize sex trade. That is what you have on the front page of the Star newspaper. More voter listing. Chebukati talks tough on IEBC independence. The story is on page 4 and 5 of the Star newspaper. Thousands of wild animals die as drought worsen in this arid and semi-arid areas. And then police forecast on slain journalist Phone, his burial set for today. And then we turn our attention to the Daily Nation and the main headline, secret card in Raila OKA talks. The story is on page 4. Nakuru, the city of promise, piped water, jobs for youth, and much more. The story is on page 9. And on the back page of the Daily Nation, Mudavadi cited in Anglo-Listen, Chris Obure drags former vice president into the 1.3 billion Kenya shillings scandal. The story is on the back page. And then on page 7, are you in an abusive marriage? Just walk away. That is an advice that was given by a judge yesterday. The story is on page 7. And then we turn our attention to the Standard newspaper and the main headline, IEBC fires a warning shot on 2022 polls. On Monday, IEBC quit a multi-secretarial team on poll preparedness, and now Chebukati reveals that the team had wanted it to report on its undertakings, thereby usurping its mandate. The story is on page 7 of the Standard newspaper. And Putin's red line warning, the story is on the world page on page 33, and raising the debt ceiling inevitable. The story is on page 26, and the main pictorial, Uhuru shows his 2022 card as Nakuru gets city status, and then President scoffs at sponsors who prey on our girls. The story is on page 10, and also that story on Nakuru getting a city status is a special report on page 12, 14, and 15 on the Standard newspapers. In a nutshell, that is what we have on the leading newspapers this morning. So perhaps now we could cue that video from Steve's side.
Much Miriam. You have to include the Miriam in that promo. So put at the end both of us on the promo and say that is it. So it's a good one, Stephen. Thank you very much. Our viewers across the world, this is Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting from the Political Command Center. And back to you in Nairobi. Leaders again. We cue in our panelists. Today, Sharon Gitonga, what interests you in the newspapers?
Thank you very much, Dr. Matanga. And of course, what happened yesterday during the inauguration of Nakuru City is something that has, really quite, fascinated me. And I think this is something that was quite long overdue. But nevertheless, I think at the right time, it happened. And now this actually provides, Nakuru greater opportunities when you talk about investment and, actually generating their own resources. I am, made to understand that it is actually the only city that has both the lake and a crater or a caldera and a national park within the city. So this means there's actually more opportunity when you talk about, agribusiness, that is in agriculture. When you talk about real estate, I had the Governor Lee Kinyanjui talking about construction of affordable housing in an area called Bondeni that is actually perceived to be a slum, and it is at 40% completion. So when you talk about real estate, it is actually going to revamp, that sector. I also look at tourism, going to also be a major boost in the city because we have, parks. We have a park there, and when you talk about geothermal, there's quite so much that will actually attract the tourism. And perhaps I was actually seeing the other day on some article that the SGR is actually fully booked. I think maybe people would actually take up this opportunity and tour the city of Nakuru. And then another thing is on infrastructure. And the president actually alluded to the fact that, there's the Mau Summit, Mau Summit in Mau Rironi Summit Road there, that is actually underway, and it's actually going to be, the biggest, one of the biggest in Africa. And he actually, the CS Macharia also said that this is actually going to be, one of the biggest projects that has been done, not even with a single shilling having been borrowed. So this is quite also a win for the county, and also looking at when you talk about promoting even jobs. I mean, among the youths in Nakuru. So there's definitely going to be more uptake of the jobs in Nakuru. And then finally, I had him talk. There's also an issue of the upgrade of the current Fraha Stadium to actually get to international standards. And this is also something that was quite fascinating. I actually remember a while back where Kenya had to be banned, from actually organizing international tournaments because of the kind of stadiums that we had, with poor pitches. When you talk about not having floodlights, that can actually accommodate night games, and I think also the issue of not having equipped rooms to actually conduct first aid. So in a nutshell, the event was a pomp and color, and it is definitely a big win, not just for Nakuru and for us as a region, and probably other counties could borrow a leaf, because this is actually a step into the right direction. Thank you.
Right, Daniel Wesonga, what has stood out for you on the headlines this morning?
Yes, thank you, Miriam Ogutu, and a very, very good morning to you and Dr. Matsanga David at our Political Command Center, my co-panelist Sharon Gitonga, and our viewers here in Kenya and the rest of the world. Indeed, it is a very, very cold morning here in Nairobi. And just to go straight to the point, whatever stood out for me is the headline on the Standard newspaper, that is IEBC fires a warning shot on the 2022 polls. And I really just want to get into the substance of this particular headline. Perhaps the IEBC...
perhaps why don't you wait?
Yes, because that is our main discussion.
That's our main discussion.
Yes. So something else?
Okay.
Yes, because we are coming to eat. People are waiting. I can see very many people saying Chebukati has never opened the Sabbath. He hasn't. Mm-hmm. He has never opened the Sabbath. He was told in 2017 to open the Sabbath. Mm-hmm. Where is the Sabbath? Has he shown it to people? Yes.
Okay. Before we get there, perhaps something, Daniel, sorry to interrupt you, that I read that maybe I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. And that is that the Transport Chief Administrative Secretary Chris Obure has dragged Amani Congress ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi into the 1.3 billion Kenya shillings Anglo-leasing corruption scandal. At the opening of his defense testimony yesterday, Dr. Obure told a Nairobi court that Mr. Mudavadi was involved in one of the Anglo-leasing projects, which involved procurement of equipment for the Postal Corporation of Kenya. The CAS said Mr. Mudavadi wrote him on May 9th, 2002, seeking direct procurement of equipment. So according to what Obure now is saying, that might have floated the tendering process when it comes to a government, a parastatal. So Mudavadi could be in problem even as the Anglo-leasing case continues in the court. I don't know what you make of that, Daniel.
Thank you, Miriam. And of course, Musalia Mudavadi, for the longest time, he has been trying to portray himself as the safe pair of hands. But for those who know Mudavadi quite well, we know that he has so many ghosts inside his skeleton, so many skeletons inside his closet. And in fact, if the file of Musalia Mudavadi against William Ruto were to be open for the time they were in Kanu, then I will see a very, very tight race between the two. Because Musalia Mudavadi was at the center of the Anglo-leasing scandal. Musalia Mudavadi, just in 2010, around thereabout, he was actually accused of stealing 200 million Kenyan shillings, which were meant to purchase a cemetery in Langata. So to me, Miriam, in as much as other people are playing to be the holy saints in this particular kind of game, I know of only a few people who I can say without any mincing any word, who have never been implicated in a corruption scandal. President Uhuru Kenyatta, for example, was a finance minister, and there was no any single day we are told that he has been implicated in a scandal. I remember there's a time the media tried to drag him. Even actually happened, but there was no even money which was lost. Raila Odinga, for example, I've never heard of a scandal where Raila Odinga has been firmly implicated in such a scandal. So to me, I think those ones who are moving around saying that they are a safe pair of hands, I think we need to do an audit and actually unravel what they actually stand for. Musalia Mudavadi has a penchant of standing and talking about the economy, this economy that how pesa is not in people's mfukoni and all that. And I think he's just like any other thief out there. And the fact that he's been speaking in a language that portrays perhaps he's drifting towards William Ruto, then we have everything to worry about, Miriam, because William Ruto's corner is where all thieves gather. And history can never be wrong. And Chris Obure is someone who was deep into Kanu, Musalia Mudavadi was in the same government with him. So I take whatever testimony that he gives before the court to be somewhat of truth, and perhaps the court will be able to determine. But that is what is out there. He can never run away from it. I submit.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And just to lead us to our main conversation this morning on the back page of the Daily Nation, I'll start with a story that is there of Chebukati surviving ouster petition, but faces another. Now, the High Court has struck out a case filed by voters seeking to bar Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Chairman Wafula Chebukati from overseeing the 2022 elections. Samuel Clinton Elijah wanted Mr. Chebukati kicked out of office for allegedly violating the Constitution and the Commission's indictment by the Supreme Court over election irregularities in 2017. But Justice Hedwig Ngudi yesterday ruled that the petition was bad in law and incompetent, as the court lacks the authority to remove Mr. Chebukati from the constitutional office. The judge said the proper procedure for removing Mr. Chebukati is by presenting a petition to the National Assembly setting out the facts that form the grounds for his removal. Under Article 251 of the Constitution, lawmakers would, if satisfied with the arguments, send it to the President. On receiving the petition, the President is required to appoint a tribunal to investigate the complaint. The effect of the orders sought by the petitioner in removal of Mr. Chebukati from office. And so that is just one part of it. And then we go to the front page of the Standard newspaper. IEBC fires a warning shot on 2022 polls. The story is on page 7 of the Standard newspaper. Let me just read a bit of it, and then we shall start our conversation. Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati has accused the multi-agency forum on election preparedness on encroaching on their mandate 2 days after Chebukati defended his decision to pull out of the multi-sectoral consultative forum on election preparedness and technical working committee for election preparedness. He appeared before lawmakers. Speaking before Senate's Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights Committee yesterday, Chebukati said the committee's terms of reference required IEBC to report its undertakings to it, yet it is populated by state agencies. He said the move would strip IEBC of its unconstitutional guarded mandate to conduct and oversee elections. Chebukati said his decision to exit the committee arose from a meeting of the forum on Tuesday last week, in which IEBC identified there would be interference. So that is just part of that story. So perhaps, Doc, we start with that ruling that was made yesterday in one of the courts here in the country, as one of the voters had gone to court and wanted Chebukati to be removed as the chairperson of the IEBC, saying that the fact that the other election we had in 2017 was nullified, the first win of President Uhuru Kenyatta, that was indictment enough on the part of Mr. Chebukati, and that being still at the helm of that very important commission cannot have a mandate to oversee another election, because that was an indictment on the commission and on his part as the chairperson of the IEBC. So start us off. You're muted.
Thank you very much, Miriam, and the viewers, listeners across Kenya. I am one of the few people who have said, if I were Kenyan, I would not allow Mr. Chebukati to touch my ballot again in this Republic of Kenya. 2, before I go to Chebukati, there is a point that we missed in the headline. And I want to tell my viewers across Africa that legalizing sex workers is a very lucrative business in Austria. Any of you who has visited Vienna, in a hotel in Vienna, and I'm being honest, Miriam, sorry for the ladies, I will say the truth. When you book a room in Vienna hotel, and then when they give you the key, they also give you a pamphlet in the key, in the envelope, for your relaxation. That's what they call it. I'm speaking the truth, which I saw there. which I've been to Vienna like 7 times on various activities of international nature. And when I was doing the peace processes in Uganda and the businesses, myself, not in Uganda, the peace process of Uganda under the UN and the European Union. And I went there to buy a plane together with a friend of mine who was buying planes. So I got interested. So before we jump on this Cape Cut, let me tell you, there is nothing wrong with legalizing this trade because it is being done on a serious level. It is being done quietly. Miriam, why don't we make it profitable? That they get certificates and pay KRA. Yes, I know the ladies here are looking down. I can see Sharon saying, what? Sharon, look, in Austria, they give you a menu. Do you want Chinese, Philippine, Russian, Romanian, Nigerian, Indian? Now there is also Nigerian has reached there. Filipino, yeah. You want, yeah, it is there. And these people come with their certificates. That people know, because it's a subject, it's not Matanga who wrote it. It is on Kenya. Kenyans are reading it. It's here. Do you want to legalize? So the MP is asking for your opinion. My opinion is legalize it. So that here in legalizing it, you will know the number of people who don't have jobs and they are doing that particular job. The KRA man will be very happy. Legalize it and give them certificates. In doing so, you are curbing so many things. Corona will be curbed. Because before you get a certificate, you must go and check for Corona. Where Songa, you are laughing, but this is a serious matter. And you are being asked as a Kenyan to give an opinion. That's why they published. The bill is going to be published anyway. So, ladies, I know I can see Sharon is looking at me and saying, what else is David talking about? I'm being honest. Miriam cannot look at me at this topic. But let's leave it until next time. But I wanted to bring you that attention that in Austria, Vienna, sexual workers are the biggest taxpayers for that economy of Austria. Doesn't Austria give you some money? And they are, Miriam, look at me, surely, look. Doesn't Austria build schools here? Do you refuse their money? But part of the money has been paid by sex workers who form tourism industry. Yes, they pay taxes. They charge 150 euros. It has gone up to 250 euros for 3 hours. With a massage and everything included in a hotel, government hotel. One of the highest hotels is called Park Hotel in Vienna near the Paris, or the King's Palace. It's just about 500 meters away from the King's Palace. All the big hotels. And by the way, Vienna is one of the cleanest towns, cities in Europe. They are underground. And that's why the world athletic group chose Kipchoge to go to Austria. Ruto flew into Austria. Why are you refusing to legalize? You think Ruto went to watch animals, sports? You ask, ask Kenyans. No. Miriam and the Gitonga, don't be annoyed with me. I am only relaying a message. Ask Kenyans who went to Austria. They will tell you it is terrible. It was. So I won't discuss it beyond that, but it is part of the tourism industry. So if the MPs want to legalize it, I think the MPs have also lacked. There are certain things, I'm bringing it as a sense of humor. There are key things MPs should think of kicking out Chebukati, not to bring this lousy bill, which will take us about, we have very little time up to February, they have to quit. When are they going to pass this bill? They are going to leave Chebukati in place. Chebukati is going to spoil this country. Chebukati is spoiling this country. And let me come back to Chebukati. Chebukati has won that he won the court. The man who filed the case did not consult experts like Wamutata and Matsanga. If you are filing a case in Kenyan court or international court, ask Matsanga on international level. Because even if you're a lawyer, you might not know how to file. Give a credit to this man. If you file wrongly in the ICC, you will come back with your mouth dry and dry. I know what it is. Wamutata even is in courts. If it was Wamutata, he would have won. Because you don't technically just go there. That's why the judge said it was brought in bad law. Don't read the bad law. Don't exclude the bad law. This man should have saved Kenya by excluding the bad law, putting it aside, then begin with the good law to build the country. But don't go there. File your petition to the parliament. So far, Kenyans are watching Chebukati going to Greece. He was in London last weekend. I know what was happening there. There is one thing, a song I want to arm you with. Who is the man who brought the Greek printer to print the ballot papers of Kenya? Who? If you tell me that puzzle, then another Harun Eyadin. This was in Turkey. There is a Greek scandal coming. The parliament MPs, Kunjiri, listen to me and all of you. Don't allow those ballot papers to be printed. Wajamen. Raila Odinga, listen to me. And the people of Raila Odinga are here. The idea on this platform. Listen to me. Don't allow the person who brought that businessman from Greece to go to London in Hampstead House has a relationship with the wife who is also Greek, who has linked. And let Chebukati say he did not meet him when he went to London on Saturday evening. I know how much they even spent on dinner. Please, wachana, nyenye wa Kenya, kesho mutalia. You will cry and say, this man, you call me names, but you will cry very loudly. You will cry. Don't cry for me. Cry for your children. That's what Jesus said. I'm not yes. I will not, I'm not a voter. Will you force me to stay here? No, I will go my way. But I don't want to go my way and leave a legacy of my friend falling to pieces because of Chebukati. If the president is hearing, let him institute an investigation on how the Greek businessman arrived to be the winner of the tender. And who is the Greek businessman? Who brought the Greek businessman? I hope the tape is capturing me very nicely. Who brought that man here Don't talk about everything. This man has gerrymandered this election. This election is already gerrymandered, Jermaine. You people are watching. Krigida came here. He told you. Chebukati is gerrymandering the election. The election cannot be free and fair. I don't care who wins. I don't. Ruto can win. Raila can win. Anybody can win. But it is being gerrymandered. It can cause very big war. So why is it that another thing I want to ask and leave my other people to fill in the gaps? Can someone tell me why are the 4 commissioners that were added there? Where are they, Miriam? The 4 commissioners, where are they? Recently, the president commission, were they 4, isn't it? They added 4 to make 7. Where are they? Why are they keeping quiet? Why are they keeping quiet? If someone can tell me, I know the reason why they are keeping quiet. Why is Chebukati running away from the other group that are also, where is go? Let me ask. There are some people reasoning here like small kids. Even I asked P.L.O. Lumumba yesterday whether he really taught these people in LODC up there. I gave names of some lawyers, whether they passed the exam or they bought the exam papers. Miriam, did they buy exam papers? Look, for you to escort the ballot paper to Isiolo, you need the police. Who gives you permission to go to get the police? Matiang'i. Who pays the policeman? Chibicho. No, you tell me. Now, you are running away from Chibicho. Will you come back to Chibicho again? Will you come back to Kibicho again and ask for police? And the Kibicho said, the policemen, as far as they are concerned now, they are busy handling national security matters. Will there be an election? Who will escort? Is Chebukati going to get Mount Kenya, Mount Elgon, LCDV, that thing that was beaten, maybe rebels? Have they prepared the rebels in Mount Elgon to come and guard the goods, the ballot papers? Chebukati is reasoning like not a lawyer. He would have just gone and listened to secretarial. They tell the problems what the police have. Policemen end up being imprisoned because at times they act to prevent the vote. They act to prevent violence. Policemen suffer. The owners of the police are the property of the Republic of Kenya, but the managers who manage the police are the Minister of Interior. They must know how many people you want at that time. So if you are not going to sit down with them, surely, and you say they are interfering, they are not asking you. What Chebukati is doing, let me tell you, he is running away from scrutiny of this ballot paper because the intelligence people have picked already how he printed the papers. He tried to get that Greek man here. Tuambiane ukweli. So for me, the elections of Kenya is already gerrymandered. Miriam, perhaps you can begin by explaining to the people in English language what a gerrymandering is. Because I know it. I hope you have the notes there. I know what a gerrymandering is. Or Daniel, whoever can manage to do it, you read the notes or reads whatever. Gerrymandering is the process in which the vote is tampered with before elections. Am I right, Miriam? Is the process where votes are tampered with.
Manipulates, yes. It manipulates how the
manipulate the vote, print extra ballot papers, have tenders, reject the police, reject that, reject ICT, reject that. You know, all these problems are heading towards one thing. You are giving the President of the Republic of Kenya a very nice chance. And Mr. President, watch this trend. Take away the election, ask the MPs to postpone this election for some time to allow a proper arrangement so that all stakeholders sit down and get people who can run this election. Chebukati and the 3 commissioners who were there cannot conduct an election, a free and a fair election in Kenya. That's why the 4 commissioners have stayed away. There is a very serious silent internal revolt against the 3. Does it sound to you that it is only the 3 who appear in the press and the other 4 don't come? Have they not learned? It's coming to 6 months now. Have they not learned something? Now they can also come to the press and brief us. They have washed their hands off because they don't know anything. They don't know anything. And if someone does not talk about the Kenyan elections, we love Kenya. That's why we talk about Kenyan elections. We love the type of democracy that is in Kenya. Jamen, we love everything that is in Kenya. Kenyan people are very hospitable to many refugees. Many people have come from Kenya and gone to lead their countries. Kagame, Museveni, Obote, Kaunda, they have all gone through here. Nyerere, they went through these countries. They have been there. Kenya is a home of very good, mature democracy. But if we leave it and keep quiet and say we don't talk about elections, this election, Uhuru Kenyatta brought a BBI, a redemption strategy. I have said redemption strategy. It's me. I will say it. I know Kenyans don't like me to say redemption. They say that man who knows only one word, redemption. It is the only word to save you, Allah. Allah. If you don't do redemption, look at the words that people are throwing at each other now. No, look at the words, Miriam. Look, listen to the words. Listen to the lies. A redempted heart cannot tell a lie. Listen to the lies the deputy president is telling people in Machakos that he constructed a road. Which road? The deputy president of Kenya is a ghost worker, earning money as a ghost. So how did he help? His second term, he has not helped. Since Raila and Ruto, Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta shook hands, the man has not been in office. He has been absent, collecting salary and allowances, mobilizing MPs. He has gone to parliament and got a clique of MPs so that he's not actually checked. He would have been checked out of parliament already, of power. But he's not doing a good service for the president. He wants to destroy. My worry here, Miriam, before I give way to other people, my worry here is destroying President Uhuru Kenyatta's goodwill, a legacy. He's tried. Kenyatta with the pandemic, he's tried. Kenyatta has sorted the pandemic. I'm telling you, give a credit where it is due. There are 2 countries 3 countries in Africa that I can give a credit on the pandemic. Country number 1, Kenya. Country number 2, Uganda. Country number 3, Rwanda. Country number 4, Zimbabwe. Those 4 countries in Africa. If you look at the number of people who died and the number of people they have saved, give them a credit. Give them a credit. Because Kenya put good measures. It saved people. Uganda put good measures. Museveni, you can call him all the names you want. But on this one, me, I've told you, I always give a credit where the president deserves a credit. So what will you do? You can kill me. I have a right of freedom of choice of my words from my mouth. If I say something is very good, for example, Museveni, in my constituency, we come from a hilly place. He has put water. You want me to say it's very bad? When some of my people in my county, where I come from, used to take 1 day collecting water from down the river to up the mountain, 1 day, 12 hours. So he's taken the piped water there. You want me to say he has not done it? No. I am not in that body. No. I can't do that. I train in an English university. Yes. And I know how the English do their politics. I'm not going to do cheap politics of condemnation. Because you have got a guitar, you condemn using the guitar. No, not. No. I went to school, a very good school. So I will say what is right and what is wrong. Uganda did and has done very well on the pandemic. Rwanda has done very well on the pandemic. And then Zimbabwe. As we speak now, there is no patient of COVID in Zimbabwe. Look at the figures. They are out of danger. They are now covering themselves on this danger. And somebody sees that now they are not able. We shall look for that topic later on. Let's hammer them with no plane from there should come. They are looking for trouble. It's okay. But so far these countries have looked after. Uhuru Kenyatta has given a very good direction on the pandemic. Why should he spoil his legacy on an election which is being misconducted by Chemkati? It's being misconducted. He has gerrymandered it. He has destroyed even the sweetness of elections. By now, he doesn't have money to conduct an election, isn't it? He's talking of money. So then why don't you come out and say, I don't have the money? I can't be in this place. Why don't the people stand? What are you going to gain? You haven't even opened the suburbs of 2017. You are still there. So for me, the elections of Kenya has been gerrymandered. I submit. The gerrymandering process started. It is here. It is going to destroy Kenya.
Very well, Doc. Thank you so much. So just perhaps before we get to what the chairperson of the IEBC, Wafula Chebukati, is saying, just going back just a little bit, Sharon, to the stories I started with on the back page of the Daily Nation, where there were 2 petitions that seeks to get Wafula Chebukati out of office. And of course, the first one was struck out yesterday, where, Samuel Clinton Elijah wanted Mr. Chebukati kicked out of office for allegedly violating the Constitution and the Commission's indictment by the Supreme Court over election irregularities in 2017. So that case was struck out, but there's still another one still pending in the courts. And this one the IEBC chairperson is facing another ouster threat in a petition filed by human rights activist Kelev Khalifa over alleged contempt of court. He argues that Mr. Chebukati failed to obey a Supreme Court order to produce the 2017 presidential election results servers. He wants the court to commit him to civil jail for 6 months or bar him from holding the office of the chairperson of the IEBC. So the Supreme Court had ordered, go open the servers. And as the chairperson of the IEBC, Mr. Chebukati has failed to honor that directive by the court. So this voter and human rights activist has gone back to the court and said, this is contempt of court. So this is something that Chebukati has to deal with right now.
Thank you, Miriam, for that question. And I definitely agree it is, contempt of court, because I believe there's no one who is above the law. We are talking about transparency and accountability, and probably you should just surrender to the courts and, give an account and to explain to us as to why he's not been able to, open up the servers right now. I mean, it's been 4 years, and now looking at, getting into a season of elections in less than a year with the same person, doing the same things and expecting expecting different results. It's high time, probably, just like Dr. Matanga said, even the MPs, there's so much, it's high time we actually focus on getting this man out of, office, because he has bungled elections before, and even getting to hear at this point in time that he cannot, he does not want to, sit in a multi-sectoral agency that, is all about, talking about election preparedness. I agree with what Dr. Matanga has said, that we cannot get into 2022 elections with the same person sitting at the helm of the leadership of, the electoral body, someone that bungled the 2017 elections and saw these elections actually being challenged at the Supreme Court, and having to hear this kind of, news right now. This is something that, we cannot, we should actually stand up and probably get him out of the office, starting from the MPs. But if I hear MPs talking about some of the things that are not of priority, right now it's quite, it's quite saddening, because Chebukati seems not to be a man to be trusted. He seems to be a man, he seems to operate as a toothless, bulldog that cannot bite. I talked about the letter that he had issued, giving a warning from the early campaigns. And if you looked through the letter, it actually sounded like an appeal. It's like you're trying to request them, kindly stop. There's a difference between an appeal and a directive. So they seem to, they seem to.
It's exactly 56 days before Kenya heads into a general election. And the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the body charged with overseeing the election, was today holding a 3-day national elections conference at the KICC in Nairobi. The conference brings together different stakeholders, like political parties, the civil society, and international.
Financing the UDA. So that in itself speaks volume. For me, and we have said here outrightly that, the whole process is not a one-day event. It is, it is a process, a process to, build up legitimacy, build up trust, build up confidence that has been eroded even with citizens. So they actually could not get, to the voter registration mark. There was quite an, there was a voter apathy. And if you ask around, it's because people actually feel like, their vote does not count. So, Chebukati sitting at the helm of, at the helm of the leadership, we cannot get into a free, fair, and credible elections. My advice is for, the IEBC to stop being, reactive and get, get proactive by inviting all these different stakeholders that sit at the multi-sectoral agency, because all of them actually play one or another role in one way or another come 2022 general elections. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And Doc, this second case that has been filed against the chairperson of IEBC, Wafula Chebukati, of course, it's not the first time we are talking about it. And I think the judge in that court, if I'm not very wrong, the last time we were having this conversation, I think said because the judgment was made from the Supreme Court. So perhaps only the Supreme Court that can, can enforce this a contempt case. So what if another Kenyan woke up one morning and decided to go to the Supreme Court and petition from the Supreme Court and said, this court gave this order for Chebukati to open the service. Many years later, he has failed to do so. So could you put him in for 6 months? Where will that lead us, even as we prepare for next year's elections?
The Supreme Court does not jail. It is the High Court that jails, or the Magistrates Court. But you are right. The second case of Khalifa will go through. That's it. It will go through. And that is, if I were Chebukati, I would start running very fast. That's why he's running, because people are going to go for the second case, a quick one. He never opened the server. After elections, whatever it was, the contention, he should have opened the server. It was a directive. So if someone picks that directive from the Supreme Court and comes to the lower court, which he has mandate to sentence you, it does so. Because he's going to say the server was kept by the president. Or he said the servers are in Paris. So Paris is still, we are in darkness. The French have been eating a lot of frogs years ago. And they continue eating frogs. Now, Wakabkat will tell us the frogs are finished. So they have woken up. So Miriam, let me tell you, they caught him now. And plus, other people going to parliament. I'm sure there are very many people lining up to parliament. The 4 commissioners are not, you see, the 4 commissioners, apart from photographs, is there anything else that the 4 commissioners have brought? Where are they? Why are they not active? Why is the CEO not fully appointed? Why do we have an acting CEO? Why? Are there no Kenyans who can fill the place? Or why don't you make him permanent CEO? Why is the man acting on acting basis? There are so many questions. That's why Chebukati does not want to come to this committee. Because people are going to ask, what about this? What about this? The courts don't want trouble. The courts come for last apex. But if there is a way to resolve some of these problems down here, we can resolve them. We can resolve them. That's why the Chief Justice is in that secretarial committee. The Chief Justice is there to know how many voters have been are there expected, so that she can go back also to plan her judiciary. How many judges will she put on disposal, at the disposal, to finish up the petitions? You must plan. Does she need money? Some of the courts, court premises will be used for elections. Am I wrong? Outside the court. In some places, schools, courts, churches are used. Municipal buildings, private, elections in our country, in where I live here, in Britain, they are held. They are held in the community centers. For example, I've been voting in Croydon Central in Surrey. since 1987. I've been voting labor until 1998 to Ligonga Conservative. We came to power, and then my friend Tony Blair again messed up and we lost. But we go to a smaller place, Miriam, you find it is a community center where you don't have anybody who says, this is my building, you vote and go. But here, we can even use the court, the offices of the court, not the courtroom, but the office. So the judges, the judiciary is entitled to sit down. Matiang is entitled to know how many policemen you want. Mr. Gijeru is entitled. What is your problem of transmission? Where do you want us to bring? Where are those balloons that went in the air during the pandemic? Are they still flying? I was asking Miriam whether the balloons are still. You remember during the pandemic, there was balloons were put in air. Kenya, tuko na mambo. Where are those balloons? Were they balloons or they are called what? Satellite? What is this current thing that delivers medicine? Sharon, what is it called? It goes drones. A drone that delivers medicine. Kagame uses them to deliver medicine in remote dispensaries. You see?
Mm-hmm. And Doc, there's something also that caught my attention yesterday during that interview by the IEBC Commission while they were having a session with the Parliamentary Commission. And this is what was said, and I'd like for us to look at it. On preparedness of next year's polls, Commission CEO Hussein Marjan said ballot papers would cost an average of 22 shillings and 23 shillings, down from 118 shillings per ballot in 2017, also insisting that IEBC needed 40.9 billion Kenya shillings to conduct the 2022 elections. And of course, what we had last time, the 2017 election was 36 billion Kenya shillings. So if 2017, a ballot paper costed 118 Kenya shillings, and right now a ballot paper will cost between 22 and 23 Kenyan shillings. First of all, the disparity. Will that now mean that perhaps, the price of conducting the general election should be lower than what we had in 2017?
Miriam, there you are. You have brought the elephant in the house. I have been telling you that in Greece, if you flew in Athens today, Dr. Matanga, I fly into Athens. In fact, we better go there for Christmas in Athens with our $20,000. The Prime Minister will invite us. The Prime Minister of Greece will know we are around. You feel my sense of humor, that if we went with $20,000 US, they will know we are around. Because Greece is a saturated country. It's saturated. Miriam, nobody should tell you there is something in Greece. What? The currency is zero. You carry a sack like a Zimbabwe. Those days when Zimbabweans used to carry a big sack. So if $20,000, now that is why they went for a cheaper. My father used to tell me anything cheap is very dangerous. So the MPs must find out why this price is 22 and what the benefit is out of 22 and 118. Are we getting the real ballot papers, or we are getting ballot papers that can be duplicated by Ruto? so that we get route of feeding all the pastoral areas in Turkana with Nanok. And then they bring them down to county. Sindio transmission. Utapata nini? Kwisha. Let's go for a place where their security features are well organized. We cannot resuscitate a father-in-law of a Kenyan who was married from Greece by giving him money. You Kenyans give them money, but you will regret it tomorrow. So there is a very big thing there, Miriam, which we have raised, and we shall continue to talk. Our radio is a community radio. As a community organization, we are supposed to talk about these things. The thing is in the papers. Chebukati should not get annoyed with us. Chebukati does not give me any money to speak. I have tapes of Chebukati wanting to, the commission, I have them. With the alliance, Third Way Alliance, I have. When they tried to buy signatures, we kept quiet. That one went over. Now this one, we have. There's something very wrong. Who brought the Greek man here? If you answer that as a Kenyan, then go and vote. If Raila accepts for those ballots to be printed in Greece at 22 shillings, I will not take part. I will stay away. I will stay away. I want to tell my viewers that that is exactly what I feel.
Okay, and also yesterday during that interview or that session, something else came up, because remember, IEBC had said there will not be another voter registration exercise, but apparently there will be another voter exercise, second phase for January next year, pending the necessary budgetary allocation. So IEBC is organizing another voter registration exercise in January, should they get the funds that they need. So I think that is also something that perhaps Kenyans should know. And being asked as to why they registered very few people during the last registration, Abdi Guli had a very interesting, a response to that, and he's quoted as saying, "The youth don't seem eager to register as voters, some of whom told us it was because they don't see any changes in their lives. But we hope to capture more voters, especially those who may have heard got identification cards between now and when we open the second phase." So they're saying, according to the report they gathered from, these registration centers, the youth of Kenya are not very keen on registering as voters, because they're saying they don't see any changes. They don't see the importance of voting in this country. That is a serious thing, knowing, they form the bigger, population in this country.
Miriam, thank you very much for bringing that matter out. Frankly speaking, I just want to tell you, this election is gerrymandered. Cry for yourselves, don't cry for me. I'll go my way, and I'm not bothered. But it's gerrymandered. How can a commissioner tell you that, one, we did not register enough members because the youth told us they don't want to register? Have you seen any poster on the national TV saying this is how to voter education is voted for? In any election in the world, in places, I have traveled 126 countries in the world. I've been there for all my life. I've been an observer for elections, a monitor for elections in a place called East Timor. In Serbia, Yugoslavia, I was there. Zimbabwe, Gambia, Ghana, I've been there. Tanzania, I've been there as an independent election observer. But you find some of these countries have got a lot of materials showing the people how they should go and vote, what is their right, give them incentives. IEBC has got the money to even call people under a tree. Have you, that Wafula tell me where he went under a tree in the village in Kenya and tried to educate people of their rights. Mr. Wafula, bring that photograph here. Bring the photograph and you know, tell me I'm very wrong. There is something wrong with this whole election of yours in Kenya. And if Raila Odinga is listening to me, if President Uhuru Kenyatta is listening to me, these are the elders of this country. Forget about the other mafia man. You know, I have no regrets. I'm in their stages at my age. I'm just telling you, please. First, organize this electoral commission. Your Excellency, President, please organize it. First, let the people heal. Let the people forgive each other, Miriam. Let the people begin to think of redemption. Let the people heal first. People are still, you know, people are still in the camps. There are Kenyans who are still in the camps. You want me to sit here and smile that you are wearing a yellow shirt running around Kenya, that you are UDA. People are still in the camps. There are some people who see their houses. What would you do if you see your house, which you built 60 years ago, and you produce your children in that house? Someone is cooking and you see the smoke. Tell me. Those Kenyans who pretend to be very good and they call people hate me. What do I care? I don't care. Tell me that the smoke coming from the house which you built and you grew up with your children, you are now a squatter in an SQ in Nairobi. How would you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? You are Kenyans. Tell me, how do you feel? You are going to Malaba, you are going to Busia, then you stop somewhere in Kenya, in Rift Valley. You look at your house, there's smoke coming on top, and you are not the one cooking. And you have not been compensated. How do you feel? Solve this problem first. Solve the problem first. Then do an election. We all love Kenya. We love Kenya so much. But please, in the name of God, solve this problem first. Nobody wants trouble. We are not prophets of doom. Kenya has been a place to keeps refugees, where people run when there is trouble. But now, if it becomes troublesome, where will the people run to? You have people from DRC Congo. You have people from Chad. You have now people from Nigeria. Nigerians are very many. Hundreds of thousands are here. You have people from Somalia. You have people from Djibouti. The president of Djibouti lived here as a refugee. Is he not the president now? The president of Somalia, Mr. Farimajo, was a refugee here. Is he not a president now? Kagame was a refugee here, driving a taxi here, collecting passengers. Is he not a president? Museveni was a refugee here. Obote was a refugee here. Are they not presidents? You are very good people in this world, but organize your elections. Forgiveness, reconciliation, truth-telling, accountability, restitution. reparation above all. Those words added to one letter called H. Am I speaking to the world today? H. The letter called H. Healing. 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 You are healed. And once you are healed, hallelujah. Once you are healed, you can go to election and lose and go home. First of all, you don't have food. You Kenyans don't have food in some areas. There are animals dying today. There is no water. Animals are dying. Isn't it a story, Miriam, you have been working on?
It is. It is. It is a concern.
Yeah, you don't have food. People talk about Uganda. Ugandans, why they vote and they go back home? They have food. They go back and eat. Eat matoke and they keep quiet. Forget about democracy.
They don't have an option, Doc. They have to go back.
No. Ugandans. No, listen. Ugandans vote. Even in the vote, they are cheated. Ugandans vote, they are cheated, Miriam, but they go back and eat food because there's cabbage, tomato, carrot,
and also because
arrow. But here, some parts of Kenya, no, wait first. Some parts of Kenya, Walayamu, let's talk the truth. There are some people walking for 200 miles to look for one bowl of water. Water. That can bring a conflict. So let President Uhuru Kenyatta stop this thing here. This thing on gerrymandered election. This is gerrymandered already. It has been gerrymandered. If Raila doesn't see that, he's going to cry on 9th of August or 10th. Raila atakia tena. Your ballot paper, your 22 shillings is ballot paper also manufactured in Nakasero or somewhere on the streets. Kwenda, muache hiyo. Yo media makuna. Ballot paper of 22 shillings without features from Greece, a country that has the currency of Greece cannot buy one shoe of mine. They don't have money in Greece. Greece is a bankrupt country. How do you go and give 2 billion Kenya shillings to a farm in Greece that has not even printed any? Where has it printed ballot paper before? The election in Kenya, the roadmap to election is gerrymandered, is bumpy. If you can argue to me that animals are not dying in Northeastern, then you want to hold an election. You will address those animals. Where will you find the voters in Northeastern? Dwale was on TV yesterday, opening his mouth. He's my student, but I taught Dwale how to write essays. And he passed, luckily enough. In one of his courses. You know, he had no degree. I had to encourage him to get another degree. He was telling lies. He was telling lies about the president. When he saw the president coming in here, then his voice got lost. Why don't you speak like me? Me, even if Ruto is passing here, I will say the truth. In fact, I will say louder so that he can hear. He cheated me. He cheated me. He never came to say thank you to me. I've not hidden why I don't like him. But I don't hate him. I don't like his behavior. I've healed. Is ICC still here? No. And you know me, David Matanga, my friend, I hate ICC. I hate them. Even if you take there an enemy, I will hammer it. I don't like ICC. We need to have a court in Africa, not to export Africans. Black people being put on the plane, exported again from here. That time we went forcefully. You want to force us again to go there? No. So for me, in my submission, humbly, Miriam, Sharon, and Daniel, and the viewers, I was there. You can see from my picture, I was there. In fact, there I was very, very small. I was not as big as now, because there I was only eating 1 meal a day. Because of running for this, running for that, to secure my friends, my Pan-African friends. When one of the friends turns on my president, my friend Uhuru Kenyatta, and he's destroying him. Instead of him saying, give me this button, I'll run fast. Uhuru Kenyatta did a good job to shake hands with Raila Odinga. You people have not come from a country where we have died. For us, we have been dying from 1966. We have been dying. Yeah, we have been dying. Very sharp conflict. Go to London streets. London streets, some areas, we talk our language, Luganda. Very many of us. Now the Kenyans also, Swahili, they are there. Go to West Ham, up here, West Ham, where that football club is. Go to Arsenal, Islington, you will find the Kenyans are there. Go to Slough, you will find the Kenyans, a heap of Kenyans, a heap of Ugandans. We talk the language, we're taking over some of the places in London because all of us, most of us are refugees because of conflicts from home. I'm speaking as an elder, not as an amateur of 45 years or 50. I'm above 60 years. I've lived 6 decades on earth. God has given me that strength. And what I preach now is not division, not hatred, but for people to listen. This election is not good. It has been gerrymandered. I submit.
Okay, thank you so much, Doc, for that. Sharon, something came up yesterday during that a session that IEBC had with that committee. And apparently in 2017, the one ballot paper costed between 118 Kenya shillings, one ballot. But right now in this new deal that and the tender that they've got, one ballot paper could cost between 22 to 23 shillings. Should this be a red flag? Does that make sense? 2017, one ballot paper costed 118, and right now, one is expected to cost between 22 and 23.
Miriam, yes, definitely it is a red flag, and I honestly don't understand why Kenya, is actually the most expensive country that, you actually, when you talk about conducting elections, you're one of the, most expensive country. And, at some point I even kept asking when they went to look out for, for a Greek company to print out these ballot papers, is it that, Kenya, probably we are not competent, or we do not have companies that can actually, print such ballot papers? I remember when we were talking about COVID, and President actually alluded a Kenyan company that, was able to produce over 70 million, vaccine syringes for export. So is it that we are actually short of, competent people, or, there's so much, to what that meets the eye, and, this kind of, shady deals is what it keeps even asking the most question of accountability, and that is what the IEBC has whether deliberate or not, actually to trying to stay away from these kinds of accountability, because everyone wants to find out. And like Dr. Matsanga actually talked about earlier, they've been given a mandate to actually conduct voter education, and that is why we had a voter apathy, because people do not understand the reason as to why they're actually going to cast their vote, because if anything, they do not see any change. So that is a duty that was actually neglected, even after receiving approximately 5 billion every financial year. Can they even account for that money? You talk about recurrent expenditures, but what is the biggest their biggest mandate is to conduct, such kind of sensitization to the public, even at the grassroots. I mean, people do not even know the reason as to why they vote. And, all these things have actually been done deliberately. So I think the biggest question is on accountability and transparency. And for me, this is the biggest red flag that should actually not actually be allowed to, to actually get here, come 2022. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And if we were to go with the new suggestion that they're giving here, and of course the significant drop of prices, especially per ballot paper, which is quite significant. And so would that mean now then the budget should be a bit lower, because last elections, in 2017 election cost the country about 36 billion Kenya shillings, and now the expected elections 2022 is expected to cost about 14.9 billion shillings, and they're saying this is because also they have to perhaps include measures to contain COVID-19. But if you look at that significant difference, should we not be having cheaper elections this year?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm also of your concern. Why is it that the ballot papers are cheaper, but when you come to the total budget, we're actually talking about almost 50 billion to conduct one-off elections? I think IEBC failed to prioritize most of these things, and that's what they're trying to do right now, to try to sanitize themselves because of duties that they actually failed to to conduct. I look at kits that have to be bought in every new year, and these kind of systems. Why can't we get to a point where we have permanent systems that we don't have to talk about? When you talk about kits, where these BVR kits, why do we have to keep on purchasing BVR kits every now and then? If they actually took time to plan, even this thing of actually going to do the kind of voter registration, these are the things that would have stayed online. I mean, this is when you talk about targeting the youth, this is the TikTok generation. They are always on their phones. What if they sat down and came up with an application that probably would not require them to go and queue, or even have to travel to actually go and register? So these are some of the things that they have actually deliberately failed to plan, and that is why now we are actually seeing the failure, because I believe we had enough time. I mean, the period between since the last election and right now, these are things that we would have planned and prioritized and cut down expenses, because I think 50 billion is, over the roof. That is, I mean, this is the amount of money that would have gone, far. Dr. Matsanga actually talked about, we are actually facing starvation. And when you ask these people in the ASAL regions, for them, voting is not a priority. For them, how are they going to put food on their tables? Their source of living, when you talk about their farm and animals are dying, how about this money actually getting into being pumped into such places? But because IEBC chose to actually, and deliberately failed to plan, that is the reason as to why now we are seeing, all these kind of failures. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. And they've also said, Sharon, before Doc comes in to wrap up the show for us, they've also saying that perhaps they're looking for a second phase of voter registration in January, should they get the funding. What are some of the things that perhaps they should do differently this time to ensure that, should they get the money they need for this registration, it will be effective and not just waste the amount of money that was wasted, comparing to the amount, to the number of registration of the new voters they had? What should they do differently this time?
Miriam, I don't want to be optimistic because I believe there was time that was given, and rushing towards the last minute is not going. This is actually going to be an exercise in futility. We had over 4 years to actually start. The law actually, says that immediately after an election, you start actually, registering new voters. But you see, this is something that was neglected. And when you talk about, having to do, having to conduct another exercise, yet we had enough time, and even the other time that was given, it was still, we also experienced voter apathy, even after we talked about, the biggest thing that was what was actually needed to be done, talking about, voter sensitization and education, mostly at the grassroots. There's money that is set aside for that. Where did this money actually go? Because this is an exercise that was not conducted. When you talk about, up to date, if they're actually planning to do it in January, I have not seen any advert on any social media platform, not even on the digital platforms, even on televisions. I've not seen any advert. I'm actually surprised to hear this from you. So if we have not seen even these kind of campaigns actually being rolled out, even even actually putting up, if they could say even maybe they could cite about talking about expenses, but even outside where I live, or even in the estate, I've not seen any kind of such directives. So this one will actually be an exercise to futility, given that as we speak, I have not seen any effort. Even probably they didn't learn from the last the last period of the kind of exercise that we did. We had a whole month, and it was clear that Kenyans are not about last minute. It is because this thing is not a priority. Trust you me, if it was about last minute, people would have gone. But because it is not a priority to them, because they do not see any change, this actually as a result of the kind of mindset that people have, and that is where the voter education would have gone a long way. Yet right now there's nothing that has been done. I don't think I am going to be pessimistic about this, and you're gonna be my witness. This one is not going to see the end of the day.
Right. Thank you so much. They're still sourcing for funding, so maybe that's why they've not started advertising. Yes, but yes, Doc, end it for us.
Can I know why? where I had muted a bit, so I didn't hear what is the Gitonga was saying. It won't see the light. Who is it? The IEBC?
No, Miriam. We were actually talking about, Miriam said there's another exercise that is bound to happen to conduct. Yeah.
Yes.
Which one? That one is a failure. I agree with you. They are going to repeat the same mistakes. This thing is for eating money. They are globaling your money. They are globaling your money. If you go and see now what they said they have spent on these 1.5 million voters, you can run and tell God to open the heaven quickly, and you disappear, oh hell. If you have committed crimes, you go to hell. So Miriam, please, this thing is money-making exercise. That January there will be another window. Which window? If people did not register when there was everything, how can you get registered people after Christmas? In Kenya, everybody is dry. Tell me any Kenyan who has money in January. Show me. It must be only those people who have stolen, like Sonko and the rest, who have shooty money. But will you have money in January, Miriam?
Thank you for reminding us the number of Kenyans who are registered for the last registration that IEBC did, which was about 1.4 million.
1.5, that's what they quote.
All right, so how can they justify the increase in the amount of money that will be spent in the next election, and yet there is a significant amount of money that will be reduced by this cheaper deal they've gotten of publishing? Yes. I'm still having troubles with that. It doesn't justify the money.
Let's have our show at 3 p.m.
I have a problem with that.
I also have a problem with that, my dear. I have a big,
All right.
David here, I have a very big problem with Chepkat. In fact, if I were a Kenyan, I would tell him to leave now. I would have gone to the highest court and a petition, very good English of Shakespeare. Hapana English mwenye unaandika watu wanaandika. Mtu anakuambia there is bad law. No, I would have made a very good law for Chepkat to be kicked out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I guess that is where we end our show this afternoon, almost a minute to noon here in Nairobi. Thank you so much, Sharon Gitonga. And of course, Daniel Basonga was with us earlier and he left the conversation a bit early. Thank you so much, Dr. David Matanga. It has been a pleasure. Tomorrow, I'll not be present, but perhaps on Sunday I'll be here.
I am aware. I will take charge. But
all right.
Are you able to do the afternoon show?
I have to read.
Yes, you gotta read, and I wish you good luck in the.
Thank you so much.
Your exams, and Sharon, I wish you good luck. I'm gonna talk to you shortly after about 1 hour, and thank you very much for keeping Punchline Africa Television, the only television back online in Africa with 21 million people watching us.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.